grab those earplugs because the Aries sector of your chart is about to be dynamite. Every once in a while, you'll stumble across an astrological alignment that raises an eyebrow or two. And I'm talking about the Mars-Jupiter conjunction in Aries on May 29th. Now, this might be an energy that we experience for the entire duration of Mars in Aries. For more information, check out that video. It goes from May 24th to July 4th, which is, again, auspicious. See that video for details. But Mars in Aries is a planet that's at home. It's the warrior. It's a planet associated with the color red. It is a red planet. It can be associated with being infuriated, with being enraged, with seeing red, with that primal fight or flight energy, but usually fight with Mars in Aries. And it's just one of those just more automatic, just do it, just pull the trigger kind of energy. And seeing the way that tensions are on the world stage right now, it's not the best or easiest or most comfortable thing to look at, especially when combined with Jupiter, a planet in Aries that is very self-righteous, that is very outspoken, that is unafraid to go rogue, is unafraid to sort of just be very, very vocal and independent and very strong about what one's beliefs are. Jupiter and Aries, beliefs are on the sleeve. Everyone knows what the beliefs are with Jupiter and Aries. We know where everybody stands because people are more outspoken about it. And yeah, I did a whole video on Jupiter and Aries long before it even came out. I think this whole Supreme Court thing is very much what this transit is going to be about. So you have a lot of anger right now, and you have a lot of anger fueled by belief right now. So it's a very zealous, and it's a very combative energy. So looking back at some previous times that we've seen these planets align in the sign of Aries, which, by the way, Aries is an auspicious place for these two planets to meet up because both of them are very, very strong here. So we see with this combination, you might see religious war or belief war, or just highly charged and highly contentious beliefs or acts that are really motivated by what one believes. So yeah, it's a really rocky climate right now. So I think that we can experience some sort of peak around this time. This will be something that we see through the whole transit of Mars and Aries. But we may experience a definite peak here Memorial Day weekend of May 29th. So some of the previous things that I've noticed with this aspect, and I didn't go back too far. I didn't have quite as much time to research it, but going back the last 100 years or so, I did see a lot of space travel themes, thinking about Aries as a new frontier, and Mars, Jupiter, yeah, let's go for it. So yeah, this energy can be really seismic in terms of taking that next big step on that next big adventure, taking a big leap of faith, taking a big chance on something. So on a personal level, this is going to do some amazing things in the Aries sector of your chart. You're going to see a ferocious boom in that area of your life, and hopefully it'll be exciting. Hopefully it'll be something that you feel really inspired, really enthusiastic, really passionate and motivated about. So yeah, this idea of space exploration. What is the new frontier in your life in the Aries sector? The sector of your chart associated with individuality, taking risks, and just following your own beat. So I saw that a lot. But looking back at 2011, May, that was the last time they conjoined there. This was when Osama bin Laden was allegedly killed by the US government. Also, this was around the time of the Arab Spring. So very cool. Another thing that we see is June 1975. We see the movie Jaws. I mean, this movie is still really popular. It's an iconic movie. I just thought that was a very Mars and Jupiter kind of movie. It's playing off of fear, right? And the Jupiter hype layer was definitely there. And people still you hear Jaws and you know exactly what they're talking about. We also saw, this is right after Watergate. So there was a lot of political tension going on too. And yeah, I would I would guess that there's like a similar energy going on as today, where there's just like distrust and dissatisfaction with the government. The time before that was 1940, and this was January 1940, and this is of course World War II, which began in 1939. So this is like right at the beginning where it's, yeah, real combative and everything like that. So Mars and Aries, combative. Jupiter and Aries, motivated by belief, motivated by inspiration, what one's philosophy is or moral compass says. So yeah, I think that on a personal level, this transit could be really incredible for giving us that nudge to take a big, courageous leap. This is like a great way to kind of start the Jupiter and Aries energy, which we're going to be working with for a whole other year. So this one is sort of our launch pad. But on a global level, it raises a couple eyebrows, mainly because I think it's going to get really contentious in like the picket lines and the protests. And, you know, we have so much to be angry about here in the States right now. And certainly in other parts of the world. I know the Philippines are having their whole political thing. And of course, Ukraine and Russia are having their whole thing still playing out, unfortunately. So yeah, this one definitely raised a couple eyebrows for that reason. But another really important layer of this transit is the conversation about guns and violence and ease of access to them, especially when lawmakers seem to be making it easier to get a gun. Here in Ohio, again, they took away the training and the background checks. They made it easier. Meanwhile, they want to make abortion more difficult for people. So yeah, it's when you especially juxtapose those things, I mean, both these things are threatening lives. So I think that this Mars-Jupiter conjunction is going to represent an important critical threshold for conversations around gun violence. And I think Jupiter and Aries will cover that area entirely. Like, I think this whole transit will also be about that. But yeah, we did have that shooting in Buffalo, very tragic. Members of our community, of our astrological community, are directly affected by that, and it's really heartbreaking. And you know, especially knowing that like we're all just like a couple degrees away from that. And personally, that's the closest to home that's ever something like that has ever hit. And yeah, it's absolutely devastating. It's tragic. So yeah, and I did predict that on my Jupiter and Aries video and article that this would be a part of the conversation, and it's already showing signs that it's going to be an important one. So this is another issue that is important to show up for. I hope that you, as an individual, take this as the cosmic nudge to take that leap of faith, and I hope it is booming for you in the best way possible. So for now, that was your astrology shot of the day, and I will catch you next time. Bye. Thanks so much for tuning in with me today. For more astrology in your world, you can connect with me on all platforms at Astro Catherine. You can also visit my website, get on my mailing list, because I'm about to launch an all levels monthly chart synthesis group. So get on the mailing list to stay up to date on that, as well as my foundations course, which is relaunching this fall.